Welcome back to Ottawa Experts. I'm your host, Barbara Balfour, and on tonight's show we're talking about spring cleaning for your gut, hormone balancing, and optimizing your energy levels. We're joined here in the studio tonight by special guests Holly Warner and Darpan Ahluwalia. Thanks so much for coming back. We were talking before we went to break about pro and prebiotics, and I just wanted to go over it one more time in terms of what are the best sources of pro and prebiotics that you recommend to your clients.
Sauerkraut, sourdough pasta, kimchi,
Yep.
kombucha,
Okay.
and then the actual supplement. Now there are different forms of supplements too. There can be human grade, there can be enteric coated. So it really depends on each individual, really, what the issues are.
Okay.
I can guide them the right way.
Okay, and I want to talk about some of the conditions that a lot of people may not know about that arise from poor digestion. So for example, leaky gut. It sounds terrible. What is it?
Intestinal permeability.
Okay.
The tight junctures are no longer tight. And
holes in
you have
between.
holes.
So holes in between the intestines?
So you have your digestive tract, right?
Okay.
And there are going to be holes in the casing. If you look at cows, to give a really good example, to really give a visual to it, because a lot of people can't visualize on themselves. If you look at sausage casings, they come from the intestines of cows.
Okay.
Well, they're ordering them from Europe now because of the genetically modified corn that our cows are eating. It's causing intestinal permeability. So the casings are fragile, they're thin, there's holes. They go to shove all of those lovely ingredients into these casings to make a sausage, and it just breaks open.
Just falls apart.
This is our digestive, this is our intestinal tract. This is what's happening.
Casing is
So we have
We're getting the
holes.
holes. We have same idea. So we're getting the holes. So the tight junctures that everything is closed, meant to have the little feelers to grab a hold of all of the
and then it just
bacteria and
kinda
everything that we need. Now they leak out. They're non-pathogenic inside, but as soon as they leak out, they're identified as pathogens, and our body attacks them, and you have this IG response.
So the food that you're eating, kind of these undigested bits kind of float around.
And that's what I see
the
in the
bloodstream
blood
where
too.
it's not supposed to be.
Wow.
I mean, I don't want my corn in my bloodstream.
Yeah.
I want
Or
my corn to
anything
go
floating for that matter
through
should
my
be-
digestion.
Yes.
So if it's leaking out and your body goes, oh, this isn't what it's supposed to be, I'm going to attack it. And because it's attacking, it's a histamine reaction, it's creating an autoimmune condition. And that's where we get all of these autoimmune conditions that stem from leaky gut. And the list is a mile long as to what leaky gut can cause.
Is it fixable?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you can repair that.
Okay, and how, like what kind of process does that entail?
You're going to want to do things like that turmeric there that are going to help to heal. So that's a great product from Darpan. You want to follow a protocol where, you know, bone broth.
Bone broth? No,
is
that's
something
really
great.
in right now.
Yeah, well, there's the collagen that's in it,
Okay.
right? So you're getting that reparative. Well, you sell it. I don't know if you want to.
So what is bone broth? You just get some bones and boil the heck out of them for a few hours?
Preferably organic.
Okay. Beef,
And-
chicken, does it matter?
Beef, chicken, both. Because
Okay.
there's some people who won't take beef and chicken, vice versa, depending on their blood type as well.
Not lamb or pork or any other kind of meat?
You could, but generally beef and chicken because they hold more collagen and they hold more minerals that you're looking for. So you want to, roast the bones, and you're basically boiling and simmering it for at least minimum 24 to 48 hours to get the full
glutamine out of
Yes,
there.
that's
you
what
need
it
the
is.
apple cider vinegar to leach those minerals
Minerals
out.
out.
What are you referring to when you talk about collagen and L-glutamine? What does it do for us?
So L-glutamine is found in the brain barrier and on the gut lining, and it's a very important amino acid that helps. So if anybody who is coming with gut issues, I usually do, besides doing the food grade stuff, put them on glutamine powder to help it heal faster.
Interesting.
Because the brain and gut are kind of connected. So more of the people who have gut issues will have ADD, ADHD too. You'll find there's a lot of huge connection over there.
Now, I've had friends who broke bones and took a lot of bone broth, and it helped with their bone healing.
Yes,
I know
absolutely.
ladies who swear by bone broth to get rid of cellulite. Have you heard of that?
No, I have not.
I
have not.
Hey, if they think it works for them,
There you go.
Go for it, right?
Oh, that's
I
more
drink
bone
a
broth
lot
now.
of yeah. I drink a lot of bone broth, and I don't know.
So bone broth is something that you can just sip on during the day, have it for breakfast, have it as a snack.
I have it in my mug. I start my day with bone broth.
And you can't have too much bone broth?
It can irritate you because of the apple cider vinegar. So just start slowly, build it up, and then you can have a cup a day if you want. Some people have more. I at least have at least 1 cup every second day or so.
At 4 a day.
4 cups
In
a
the
day.
winter.
In the winter, yes. Winter,
Yeah.
I definitely have more,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
summertime,
Summer,
maybe
no.
one every
Okay.
second day or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So for leaky gut, the best things are bone broth and L-glutamine powder. And are there certain things that you should avoid eating?
There could be gluten, it could be dairy.
So it
You know,
depends.
it depends
on your unique intolerances that will, I
So
guess.
if you're going for a food allergy testing, you know, that will tell you all your different issues that you have and what to avoid.
Some people it's nightshades.
Yes,
Okay,
tomatoes,
so
nightshades
like
is big.
tomatoes and
For
peppers.
inflammation.
Okay. Okay. What is inflammation?
What is inflammation? You're inflamed.
Is it like your body feels hot, for example, after you eat a certain
No.
food? Like, how do you know that you're
body
inflamed?
Put that into words.
His body's response to it's like a attack mode. So if you've taken something like, say, for example, you've taken a nightshade, like tomato, for example, and you find that after eating it, you swell up a little bit. So that's the body's reaction of not being able to absorb it. First of all, because it's nightshade, it's going to cause more inflammation anyways. So when I didn't explain that properly. Wait.
Wait a second. You have inflammation. What is inflammation? Inflammation is what causes the pain.
If you hurt your body
it's hard
in
to
some
explain,
way,
eh?
It's very hard to. I'm like,
if you hurt your body in some way, you have inflammation.
Yes.
Yes,
It's your
'cause
body's
body's
inflammatory
response.
response.
It's your body's
Your
attempt to
body's-
fix it.
It's
You want the inflammation to happen because then you know there's an issue. What's causing the issue?
your
It's
body
important. So a lot of times people say, I should just take something because there's no. You want to know where the inflammation is coming from and where it's coming, so you can then work on
yeah,
it.
and why? What's caused? What has
Cause.
created the inflammation?
The root cause is always very, very important.
What about SIBO? What's SIBO?
Small intestinal bacteria overgrowth.
Okay.
It can be good bacteria. You can have good bacteria. Too much of it throws that balance off.
Yeah.
Now you're in trouble. You're taking a probiotic because you think it's the right thing to do, but it's got that good bacteria in it that you already have too much of,
Okay.
and you're just feeling that fire, and you think you're doing the right thing, but you're not. So you want to look into. I mean, Espoulardi is one that I like.
Big, very big
that's
on that,
and
yes.
that's when I do turn to the supplements, and I say, anything like the soil-based supplements. You can test for it. I do run tests for it, but you can also kind of play around and see on
look
your
at your bowel
own.
movements too.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Candida is a big one. I mean, sometimes I get so bloated after eating a meal, I don't understand what's going on, and then sometimes my stomach is flat. It has nothing to do with my workout, so let's talk a little bit about that. Is it sugar that's feeding the Candida? Is it yeast?
It's yeast, it's sugar, it's the wrong foods, it's simple carbohydrates that convert into sugar faster in the body. People are so scared of carbohydrates, and carbohydrates are actually good for you. They're good for hormone production, for cholesterol, but the simple carbs is what's converting to sugar more, that's feeding the bacteria as well. It's food, it's stress. It's stress is the number one, basically. Yeah.
And that's a great segue into talking about some of the testing that you ladies both offer. And Holly, I understand that you are the only one in Canada to offer a certain kind of testing that has to do with the stress that we are exposed to over a lifetime. Tell us a little bit
Yes.
about that.
So Dr. George Slavic is a colleague of mine from UCLA's Stress Lab. He has worked with a colleague of his whose name I can never say, so I'll skip it. And they were developing this test. It's an online test. It is to define all of the stressors you've experienced throughout your life. Now, they've tested it at UCSF. They've tested it at Stanford as well. It's rigorous testing that it's gone through to make sure that every portal is exactly where it should be. It's going to tell me where your stressors were, where they are, each category, and your resiliency to the stress. It's also going to tell me what's your perceived stress versus what the actual stress was. Because if I'm driving in traffic, someone cuts me off, and I've perceived that stress as a tiger about to chew my face off, that is a completely different reaction than to me being like, oh, jeepers, that guy, silly driver, right? So some people...
I'm more likely to be the first.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
most
on,
people
are.
on the horn going,
Yeah.
white-knuckled, right?
Yeah.
But they're two different, and other people, they're just like, meh, whatever, it's fine, and they go about their business. So knowing that is key to being able to help you manage your stress, to cope, to develop a protocol. And it goes way back to the very beginning of time. As far as back as you can remember. What was your childhood like? Did you feel safe in your home as a child? Did you move around a lot? Did you have food on your table? Was there abuse? Was there trauma? relationships you're in now. Are you married? Do you have children? Are those children your children or stepchildren or both? If you're a man, are
all
you
these embed
all
into
of
your
these-
DNA?
And a trauma resides here in the
Right.
gut.
Is that what they refer to as cellular memory?
Yes, homeopathy is
yeah.
all about cellular memory as well.
And that can
Yeah.
be inherited too, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, you can.
Your
Yes.
mother, your grandmother,
Your
all the way
birth
back.
could be off, and that could cause many other issues.
That's
So
that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's
your
all energy too, right?
your grandparent may have gone through something traumatic, and somehow some of that is internalized in your cellular memory.
Yes.
Interesting. So tell me about the testing. Is it online? It just takes about half an hour to do.
It takes about 30, 35 minutes to do. So I will send you a in-depth intake form so that I have your background, your health history to go with it. I send you the link, you go, you complete the test. I do not see what your answers are to the test. That's personal. I see what your results are. And they give me that indication of, all right, there's all these different charts, everything's going, there's comparison groups. I can compare you to other women in the same age group as you to see where you're at. Are you above? Are you below? Are you in range? Are you normal? Is it an average reaction? Or are you way up here when you should be down here? I'll go over that with someone and with that idea in mind, say, okay, here's what we want to do to help you cope. If your bucket is full of stress from the past, you're not coping with day-to-day stress very well. But if we can empty some of that out of the bucket, then you can throw some more stress in and you're like, hey, I'm not overflowing, I'm good to go.
But what if, for example, some people have very traumatic childhoods, and it comes out in, for instance, substance abuse or other things later on in life. Other people are extremely resilient and have coped with it very well. So does the test allow
Yes,
for
it's
those?
resiliency.
Okay.
Absolutely, that comes out in your resiliency scores, where it shows how you, and you might think you reacted well and coped well, and you might not have, or vice versa. And with that, you can't remove the memory, but you can heal the trauma.
Yes.
And based on that, what kind of plan might you put in place for your clients?
It's pretty detailed. It depends, again, on how deep and dark the trauma is. I do refer out to specialists. I do incorporate EFT, the tapping, emotional frequency therapy.
What's that?
It's tapping. I don't really know because I'm not trained in it.
Okay.
But I do
certain,
maybe
certain pointers
Like
connected.
acupressure?
It's more acupressure maybe connected to some
what you can
energy.
do.
It's certain pointers
Yes.
that's connected to different parts of the body and different sections that works on it. So like this is hand is usually family trauma. This is if you're stressed, if you hold it, that helps you kind of calm down. So different fingers mean different things, and different tapping mechanism mean different things.
it's usually the same. It's, this spot right here, there's the circular motion, or you're tapping here.
Yeah.
And you have your practitioner who's trained in that and does that with you. And there's, the breathing, and again, I'm not trained in it, so I don't know the logistics, but I know that it works. So I do incorporate that. There are different types of therapy, depending on what's going on, that I'll say, hey, try this, try that. And then I do work with people in my practice. I do have methods that are my own methods
Okay.
that are top secret.
Yeah.
It's magic. Magic happens.
Darpan, I want to hear more about this magnificent microscope that you have here. What do you use it for?
So that's a dark field microscope.
Okay.
And it's not like a normal microscope. What I do with it is basically looking at imbalances in the body, because we're not allowed to diagnose. We're not doctors. It's a quick prick with the lancet.
the
I do on the
fingertip? Okay.
fingertip. I take 3 specks of blood. 2 of them I check your blood type with, which is your A, your B, or whatever. Because if you're wanting to follow a blood type of a, I don't like to use the word diet, but a food plan, then we can do that. It can be very restricted because there could be like 3 different blood types in the family. So. But it's just good to know where they're at, and most people should know what their blood type is. And then I put the speck of blood on the dark field microscope and just analyze. So I can see things like if you're not breaking down your proteins, your fats. I can see bacterial levels. I can see parasites, internal and external. I can see liver congestion. I can see adrenal crystals, thyroid, because adrenals and thyroid go hand in hand. Your red blood cells, your white blood cells, plaque, congestion, oxygen level, free radical damage.
You can see all this in
heavy
3
metals.
drops of blood. That's
That's
incredible.
because it's inside you. It's your DNA, like,
Okay.
and it's live. So in the first 20, 25 minutes, I'm able to read a lot, and then it starts to deteriorate. The consult is approximately a good hour because we go through a lot of other, life history, medical history, and then go from there.
Do people need to prepare when they come in to do the test? with you?
Ideally, empty stomach.
Empty stomach.
2 hours prior at least.
Okay.
Bring all supplements if they are using any supplements along with them. So I can test that as well to see if they're the right ones they're taking, if they're being absorbed or not. And bring maybe a 3-day journal without making a food journal, without making any changes, just so I can see. And I see all that after I do the blood because I don't want to get any other information prior to the blood. So once I do that, then we go through and make a protocol accordingly, supplement-wise and food-wise, what needs to be done.
So you can tell by looking at the blood samples what kinds of foods they should avoid or what kinds of foods they should have more of?
Okay, so it is not a food allergy testing.
Okay.
It does not tell me specifically, it might be tomatoes or cucumbers are causing an issue. No, it can show me inflammation, and knowing the background of nutrition, which fruits and vegetables can cause inflammation, so let's try to avoid it. So someone who's coming for candida, or I see a lot of bacterial levels, I'll get them off cashews, melons, mushrooms, anything that's more fungal and yeast, like peanuts, they're all very fungal forming to the body. So depending on what my client issues I see, I make a protocol specifically for them then. So it's individualized.
Very interesting. And are there some other things you ladies have both brought in, some other tinctures and products to show us? What else did you want to talk about?
This is it's in the little tincture here is the finished product, and this is what I kind of have it looking like at home while it's doing its jazz for about 8 weeks. They both take about 8 weeks to do. This is pretty simple to make at home, actually. It's apple cider vinegar, or you can use red wine vinegar. You can use vodka if you want it to be a little bit more potent, but I prefer the vinegars.
Okay.
And holy basil.
Okay.
And that's
so
it.
Any kind of red wine vinegar?
I prefer something organic. I get mine brought in from Italy. Got friends
You're
that
hardcore.
I'm hardcore.
Yeah.
It's like my secret stash that I bring in. It's got a little love and light. But yeah, apple cider vinegar, unpasteurized, raw, that works just as well.
Okay.
And because holy basil is an adaptogenic herb, it helps you adapt to stress. It's
So what
great
that
to,
means is
yeah.
it kind of senses what your body needs more or less of, and it's
It's going to lower your cortisol.
Okay.
It helps with anxiety. It's also going to curb sugar cravings because when you have adrenal issues, you crave sugar. That's one of the side effects. It's one of the symptoms you get. So that 3 p.m., I need a chocolate bar. No, you have a drop of your tincture.
Okay.
So, and again, helping to kind of regulate, lower your stress by lowering your cortisol. Some people with adrenal issues, it's not that they have high cortisol and need to lower it, but they actually need to raise it because they have low cortisol. So there are other herbs that you can use for that. Some of them can do both functions,
Like
raise
maca.
and lower. Yeah, maca is
Maca
great.
is
And
great for that.
hormone balancing as well with maca.
Amazing
I love
product.
maca. It's instead of coffee. Drink it. So that's kind of what I do in regards to my tinctures and tonics, and then, stuff for the cold and flu season where
I have one right now.
everybody jokes, it's the master tonic and it's an old world plague remedy. And it started as a joke in our household where I made some, and then, my husband had some because he loves spice, and my in-laws got it. And the next thing you know, word travels, a friend takes it, gives it to another friend, and then I have strangers knocking at my door.
Really?
Literally, there's a knock on the door and my husband's like, are you kidding me? How do people know where we live?
I might be
just here for the
next.
tonic,
What's in there?
But it's apple cider vinegar, and I actually post the recipe, and I say, go make it yourself. But you need gloves, you need goggles.
Because the peppers are
The
very,
peppers are
very
so
strong.
potent.
Yeah.
So there's Trinidadian scorpion peppers, which
that sounds
God love
intense.
my mother-in-law. She brought them back, smuggled them in her luggage. Sorry, I'm ratting you out right now. Don't arrest her.
Not suggesting
But
that.
no,
Yeah.
don't do it.
Yeah.
But I wanted the real deal seeds, so she brought them back, and we dried them so we have the plants. So
Sounds
there's
amazing.
Trinidadian scorpion peppers, ghost peppers, ginger, onions, garlic, horseradish. Sometimes I throw some turmeric in there.
It's spicy and it's yummy.
It's spicy, but it works.
And what website can we find that recipe on?
Thewildcarrot.ca.
Care.ca. And if we can't get Trinidadian scorpion peppers,
You can find them here.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay,
Sometimes Loblaws has them.
really? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I found them. I was like, what are these? These are great. If not, send me a line. I'll hook you up.
Okay, sounds
Yeah, I
great.
carry them in the store too for Holly. So
We're just about to head to break, but when we come back, I want to hear more about some of the other products that you've brought in, and then of course we'll talk about thyroid and adrenals, which are sort of really hot topics and something that's just skyrocketed as more and more people are getting diagnosed with thyroid issues. So don't go away. We'll be right back with lots more.